Hey, there we go. Let's go live. It's Pops, Brandon Jones, News Talk. Hopefully have some interesting conversation with us here. We stream live tonight. Going to have ALEX SNITKER and Robert Herriman hopefully on with us here. Let's see if we have any updates on them coming in. Get them up in here. That'll be good. So 1 second. Let's get us up going on. Lots going on in the news. I want to talk about some stuff. You know, do you really want to talk about? Do we really want to talk about some stuff? I don't know. Kinda. Not so much. A little bit. I don't know. So, all right. Well, let me jump right to a couple of stories. I got ALEX SNITKER coming in the house. So let's see if we can get him up in here and get things going. Sorry, Alex. Hang on 1 second. You know, do you really want to talk about? There we go. That's going to be good right there. All right. Still getting used to a few of the little quirks. All right. The man, the myth, the legend himself, from the ballot for the U.S. Senate in 2010 to the Liberty Underground to the Florida Libertarian Party, now the co-host of Unattended Baggage. He helped co-create the Not a Bomb bag that I still love to take just about everywhere. ALEX SNITKER, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Brandon. How you doing?
Test.
I can hear you.
You can hear me. I can hear you.
Oh, we're in.
I had to disconnect to reconnect. I had to turn stuff off, turn stuff on. I'm blowing in things like an Atari cartridge. 7 minutes wasted. Boy, that's a great show, folks. But here we are. Here we are. Bob's going to try to bounce in with us. We're going to try to get him in here a little bit. I got a special little story for him to kind of comment on. It's made my head want to pop off. So what's going on with you, man? What a crazy week in the news and the headlines and politics and culture. It just never stops.
No, it just seems like it ramps up more and more every day.
Yeah, it's just completely insane.
Look, I mean, the elephant in the room has got to be Afghanistan right now.
Of course.
How in the world do you screw something up this bad?
No plan. No plan. Not sure you care. And no plan. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just crazy. Everyone's been trying to get out for years. I mean, this is Trump tried to negotiate with these folks. Obama tried to negotiate with these folks. And in hindsight, you feel like, well, maybe this was the thing. Like we keep scaling down to because we started this mess. We're stuck with this mess. We keep scaling it down. We end up with what, 2,500 to 3,500 troops basically running airports and fixing machinery. But everyone's scared because we're right there. But once we're out of the equation, man, these people didn't waste a day.
Nah, not at all. And again, you hear differing reports on how they were training or things like that. But the overall point that I would want to make on this one is we're not good at this.
That's an understatement.
Not good at this. Like, stop doing this. Please stop. We're great at going in and breaking stuff. Declare war, break stuff, and then leave right away and let them deal with it themselves. It's this whole the arrogance of our political leaders to think that they can actually do this stuff. I don't understand. I don't understand it. And the other thing is I don't want to go down a conspiracy road on this per se. I just feel like the Biden administration almost did this on purpose.
I mean, obviously it's conspiratorial at that point, but yes. I feel like it was treated as sort of like just a thing to do. Like it was no big deal to go ahead and try to shut it all down. Like it just seemed like it was just sort of yeah, go ahead and do that. It'll work out. It's fine. Get our people, you know, it was just sort of flippantly like addressing the room. Like no one said, well, this is the plan. This is the timeline. This is how we'll get our state people out. This is how we'll get our, you know, embedded people out. We'll do it. You know, right now it's just a complete free for all.
And now we have Taliban with MRAPs.
With all sorts of stuff. So let me ask you a question. This is really talk about conspiracy theory. how long does this even stay in the news cycle? If it continues to feel this bad for Biden, the press will already start changing the narrative probably by the weekend and try to shift back to COVID, try to shift to something else. So how long until it's even like in the news? It'll still be going on, but reality is the attention span, the news cycle, the ratings and all that will just move on to something else. A month?
I think it's going to last longer than that. The influence that the military industrial complex has on our mainstream media is such that they will keep this in the headlines for a long time moving forward. Again, I might be wrong. But when you look at media, mainstream, or not mainstream, but corporate media has been going all after Biden. A lot of it has been going after Biden. And that's the ones that have the neocon influence or whatever you want to call it. But this is the weird thing, though, because he screwed up a whole bunch of stuff. I don't disagree with him leaving Afghanistan, but at least get our own people out first. Like, you're going to leave 10,000 Americans there? Like, and all the people that helped us along during the years, like, and you left the Taliban with MRAPs and Cobra helicopters. Like,
yeah.
But to answer your question, I think it's going to last in the news a lot longer than this. And this for sure is going to cost. There is no doubt in my mind now that the Republicans will take back the House and the Senate in 2022 because the picture of the helicopter going off the pad, like it was in Saigon, is going to be in every attack ad for every Democrat that's running for office.
And the people hanging on the wings of the plane and all of that. I mean, it just reeks of just horrible. Listen, Daniel's left some comments here. Sorry we couldn't get to him right away, Daniel. Hopefully you'll bounce, keep with this man. And it's just nuts. It's like, he says, enjoy $5 gas. He says, he leaves a whole bunch of comments. He goes, man, basically referring to Biden, calling him some different names here. Basically just like grow some genitalia, man. Just this is nuts, Biden. What are you doing? You're out. Biden sucks. Biden is crap. And it's just, he just keeps going on, just completely unloaded. And you look, hey man, everyone feels this way, right? Everybody feels like, it's difficult because I talked to some folks at work about it, and one guy in particular, and it's hard to have this conversation. I said, I don't want to be the guy who seems like I ever wanted to be there to begin with. I didn't want my idea, because I was the brainwashed quasi neocon back with Iraq, and it was like, well, I thought we were going to war, lay waste, and leave. And then it's very quickly, well, that was not what we're going to do. But now we're trapped there because you've got this whole Middle East terrorist networks where you've got all these different factions, like a scale and gradient of what they're willing or capable of doing. And we try to negotiate with these people now for over a decade. And the very moment they have any glimpse of power, they seize all the armaments that we've left there, billions of dollars of equipment, Apache helicopter. I've seen stuff about drones. I mean, the amount of stuff that these people may have access to, Pakistan has already rolled over because Pakistan is not going to risk having all this stuff grow up in their state. And then you have India, who's already raising their hand, going, wait a minute, I can't have the Pakistanis and the Afghanis ganging up on us again. It will not take long. Libya is still a Mad Max zone, as far as I know. I don't know if you know any differently. Syria will be on fire by the end of the week. The Russians and Iranians will be lobbying for who can control the port. It's literally like Mad Max 2021 with video footage, and just your heart breaks for all the humans that are involved. Really, really does.
Yeah, no, it does. It's a sad state of affairs. It's, look, The funny thing about it is that I understand your point of, like, I didn't want to be there to begin with. So everything that's going on now, it's hard to have an argument or a conversation about everything that's gone on up to this point and what we should do moving forward without having to explain that it's almost like I don't want to sit here and argue with someone over whether we should have pulled out or shouldn't have pulled out, considering that the whole course of action that led up to this point was wrong and that we needed to do something differently than how we actually accomplished it. And also is that, just like with Vietnam, the polling of the American people was such that we wanted to pull out at this point. So he felt like he had safe cover in order to do that. And he did do it at that point. Don't get me wrong. It's looking really bad right now. But the fact that it's looking bad right now, if you're right, Brandon, and this thing's out of the news in 30 days, no problem. No harm, no foul to him. But if you were a person that was in a foreign country, please learn that you should never trust us. Please stop trusting America. Please stop thinking that we're going to follow through on all this stuff. We didn't do it to the Kurds in Iraq. We didn't do it to the Iraqis that stood up after the first Desert Storm.
Yep.
We've done this. Oh, we didn't do it to the Iranians. There's so many people we've screwed over that why would you want to trust us at this point?
And definitely when you switch political parties and leadership, it's just not gonna hold. Listen, we brought him in, the man, the myth, the legend himself,
gentlemen,
from the co-founding of the Global Dispatch, back to the Desk O'Brien era. Now the editor-in-chief of Outbreak News Today, the worm and germ guy himself, Robert Herriman. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We're doing all right. Wanted to test the waters with a 3-person thing after about 8 minutes of not being able to figure out my microphone situation. I think we finally got it running. Hopefully you're having better luck in your world with streaming.
Yep, I sure did. Yep.
So we've been that's fantastic. So we've been talking, obviously, Afghanistan, the elephant in the room, the debacle, just dominating the airwaves. Basically, we went from fear porn to human tragedy porn. CNN and all of them can't get over themselves. So what do you think, and how do you think the news cycle will handle this just through the weekend, let alone through the next month?
Well, I think Fox is going to keep on bashing Biden for good reason. And I think the other stations are going to try to prop them up the best they can. They're going to continue to say it was Trump's plan. And none of the 3 big cable news stations are going to say, yeah, 20 years and the Afghan army folded like a deck of cards in a matter of days, maybe weeks. What was another 10 years going to do, or another 50 years going to do? It was always going to be the same. So to me, it's very clear we should have been gone a long time ago.
All right, so I'm the nerd among us. So let me tell you guys a story of there's a comic book guy that I listen to. He's independent publishing now, but he is military from 2008 to 10. He was basically in the Empire Graveyard doing tours, and he was talking about the ANA, the Afghan National Army, and his interactions. And he says it's worse than like a JV squad. It was like pirates. They'd be mad. They'd leave for like 3 months, go and plant crops. They would refuse to just do certain things. They were on a patrol at the base of this river, and then they look over, and the Afghan group, they're all over there just playing in the water. Like there was no sense of serious. This is like over the course of, let's say, this was probably right before, about the turn of Obama's administration, the first couple of years. So we've obviously been there for a while, and there's no seriousness, there's no commitment, there's no sense of the military or your commitment and obligation like we have. So if we couldn't convey that within those first few years, was there ever really a chance, Alex? I mean, you were in the Marines, you served your time. You weren't just going to be allowed to just disappear for 3 months and go plant some crops, or just refuse, hey, I'm not going to work today.
You couldn't do it for an hour, let alone a day.
Right.
I mean, you couldn't. No, I mean, look, and I wasn't in during that time frame when which we were over there. So I got out in 01, just before everything went south. So, when it comes to the training aspect, I wasn't there for that part, but it didn't sound like that these people took to it very well. And you can't take what we do in America and try to teach that to another country, to people in that country. They don't live the same way. Look, they had to go do their crops because in their mind, their crops is their life. So you have to do, in their minds, they have to do things like that. Now the playing in the water is a different story, but there's certain things that they would have to do that's what they've been doing for hundreds of years. Their dads and granddads and great granddads did it before they did. And for us to try to inject, our, America over there, it was never going to work.
Yeah. Let me piggyback on that. I mean, we spent $83 billion just on training over time, $83 billion. And clearly these soldiers had no loyalty to the country. None. Absolutely none.
Yeah, it's
The only thing
it's a mess now because now we.
I just want to say one thing. They had no loyalty to the current government, which was corrupt all day long.
Mm-hmm.
They said, let the Taliban be in charge then. And they didn't fight them. They just let them be in charge.
They left. The president evacuated.
Even watch the videos of the airplane taking off and all these people running after the airplane. Mm-hmm. All men. All men. I don't know. Take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Well, I have seen a few videos, and I've seen like little girls pleading with the soldiers. You know, they know women and single women, little girls, they know what's coming. And it's like, please just get me on the other side of the fence. Just get me on your side of the fence. So at least I have that much hope. And it's just awful. So, well, Bob, now that you're here, I want to shift gears to a story. I don't know if you saw, so I'm going to share a screen. Let me go ahead and see if I can get this to go. And see if this is the right one and get it a little bigger. Google News, they admit they rewrote the news algorithm to go after Trump. How does that feel, my friend? The Google News, the bane of our existence right there. A Google whistleblower, Zach Voorhees, coming forth and talking about manipulation of the algorithm against former President Trump. He wrote a book, Google Leaks, a whistleblower's expose of big tech censorship. And he says, the madness of big tech and their attempt to mold our reality into a version compatible with the globalist view of the world has never been portrayed better than this chilling account by Google whistleblower, Zach Voorhees. My friend, talk a little bit about the shenanigans of what is known as Google News.
Yeah, Google News. First of all, this comes as no surprise at all. They are able to manipulate the people globally quite simply with a few little tweaks inside their computer software. Yeah, we've experienced these kind of issues with our different websites over, I think we started around 2010. And right now we have a website that unless you put in the exact URL for the website, it does not come up.
Yeah.
It does not come up.
Alex, I don't know if we've ever told you. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, Alex, I don't know if we ever told you the story. So one of our biggest stories ever was an outsourced movie review by the regular reviewer's wife reviewed Twilight. And about a year and a half later, we were still getting regular views every single day, even like 40 views, 80 views. It was pretty regular. And then one day, all of a sudden, 0. And then the next day it was like 6, and it was like 12. Then it would go back to 40 or 80, then 0 again. You could see the chart like being turned on and turned off, turned on, turned off. So I know you've had different websites and different things you've experienced. What are your thoughts on this crazy Google News manipulation, the whistleblower, and is it even really going to make a difference at this point?
No, it makes perfect sense. I mean, look, you could say it before and it was a conspiracy theory, but now this is just more proof from a whistleblower. This is what they're doing. They have been doing it. They've been screwing with the algorithm for so long. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've talked to you, Brandon, where you're telling me they're moving the algorithm around again. You keep trying to do the right thing to work within their system, and then they just change the rules on you. It's just they're just straight evil. Like, here's the thing. And again, this is a little bit different than that. That Adrian, his YouTube channel was just taken down permanently. He hasn't put up a video in a year, and it was something that he did in the past, which they would not tell him which, and they just cut his page down completely.
Yeah,
Bob, you can speak to the dispatch page. I mean, the dispatch page has been demonetized. We still have close to 2,000 subscribers. We get all these views that we still get to this day. We cannot figure out what flags and hard marks and strikes we have to figure out what videos. I've deleted videos. I've cut out sound. They flagged all of our radio shows, when they had music that would play during our ins and outs on the actual radio show, those little 7-minute clips, those little things that we were legally allowed to do on the radio, I had to go back. We tried to take all those out. We've done to this day, Bob, I don't think we have a clue what to do to try to put it all back and make it monetized and make it remotely active again.
I think it's meant to be a mystery, right?
At this point, I feel that way.
And Brandon, you know about the recent experience. I did a short podcast on hydroxychloroquine, and it was about a study that said hydroxychloroquine is not effective against COVID. So it was in line with the common thought, and just because they had hydroxychloroquine in the title, YouTube took it off about 8 months after I put it up, and I tried to appeal it. I said, this is from the study it came from, and their medical experts said nay. So yeah, and it fell in line with the COVID people. It's what the COVID people say, right? Yeah, hydroxychloroquine is no good. I had no opinion one way or the other. I was just reporting a study.
Yeah. How can you take down when you're just reporting a study? Like, how do you? I mean, again, that's a very rhetorical question, but I just don't understand when you're trying to put things forward that is just a discussion on an issue, how they just take it all down. I don't understand it.
And there was no commentary at all to it. Yeah.
This is the worm and germ guy. I mean, this is literally what we've been going through this whole time. He had, I think, didn't we go through some issues with old outbreak videos that had the word coronavirus in them? Like, they were completely irrelevant to all of this. They were stuff from your past, and they were trying to either demonetize or let you know about issues with those.
Yep. Yeah, they wouldn't monetize anything that had coronavirus in last spring, and they finally got over it around the fall. And I'm sure I wasn't the only one.
Right. So that means videos that had coronavirus in them that predated, let's say, 2019 would still be flagged.
I didn't have any that predated 2019. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know.
All right. So we've talked about a couple of those things, and obviously, the media will eventually get around back. I mean, I saw this shift a little bit today, the fear porn, obviously, with Florida and the hatred of our governor. But have you guys followed and seen the insanity of what's going on over in like Australia and New Zealand? I know, Bob, you'll know, because I mean, obviously this is your neck of words. But Alex, have you seen some of the stuff they've done over there in just the last couple of days? Like, there's more, not only are they locking down, it's more like stay away from everyone. Don't talk to anybody.
I've heard some of that stuff. The stuff I heard, though, was that they have the military on the ground, and helicopters up above, like yelling at people real time if you're leaving your house.
That's in Australia. Yep.
Did the Chinese even do that?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know about New Zealand.
Wow.
Now, New Zealand, the prime minister, her name is Jacinda Ardern, I think, or something like that. Ardern. She's been really lionized for her ability to keep New Zealand with very low case counts. Not really that difficult, since you're an island. You can just, it's not the same as being in the United States, right? But they had one locally transmitted case in Auckland, which is, I think, the biggest city in New Zealand, a few days ago. And the first one since February. And she came out just like that and put the whole country in a 3-day lockdown, and the city of Auckland in a 7-day lockdown. Do not leave your home. One case, yeah. That's how it.
Their rolling death counts are less than 5.
New Zealand?
And Australia, I believe. I don't think either one of them are really averaging anywhere close to more than 5. I think that they have more people that are dying in a traffic accident that are dying from the Rona. And this is how they respond with the military, basically canvassing the skies and screaming at people to get back in their house to stay away from their neighbors.
Yeah, and both countries have very low vaccination rates too. So I think they're just turning to the tried and true, mitigation of lockdowns, which we've already seen is a failure.
Complete disaster.
Yeah.
It's Israel as well, right? Is Israel also like doubling down on more shenanigans and shutdowns and stuff like that?
Israel is, but they're also starting to do boosters already.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
all right. Well, let me go to another topic.
Mhm.
We can't not. I mean, my whole world is nothing but pop culture and cancel culture. So, have you guys heard that Scrabble is going to try to crack down? Scrabble's cracking down, man.
What the hell is Scrabble cracking down on?
For the Q, for the Z, or for what?
I assume this is very similar to like the official rules, but I'm not sure if you knew this. Or like, you're not supposed to actually like use names, like proper names or place names. So I assume this is what they're getting at. Their article that had to do with this. Let's see. WESPA is the general. They had a general meeting through Zoom. They basically control Mattel. And they were trying to get rid of, quote, derogatory slurs relating to a person's race, ethnicity, sexuality, gender, religion, and so on. So they would be considered unplayable in Scrabble. The same way you cannot use a place name, you would not be allowed to use these slurs. The irony was the sheep that wrote this did not manage to give me an example of what slurs are inappropriate, because those words change daily. I don't know if you heard that or not. The new words I heard that we're now, we lost Alex for a second? Oh, man. I don't know what happened here. I got to put him back. No, I don't know where he went. He'll come back. We'll have to cover this, Alex. I don't know if he's heard these words yet. So blue pill. Blue pill is considered extremist. Obviously, we've talked about blue pill from time to time. Cuck, I believe, is another one. You're not allowed to say that. That was one. What else were some of the new words? Let me see if I can pull that story up. Blue pill. So, have you heard anything about all these crazy games and things like this getting?
No, not at all. But nothing surprises me anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? The secret language of internet extremists. Put Alex back. There you go. We're doing more cancel culture talk, my friend.
Yeah. So
secret.
What was? Go ahead.
Their thing was very generalized. They didn't give me any examples. I said, I wonder if it's like some of the new words, because I was going to pull up this story where they're talking about some of the new words you're not allowed to use in other ways. They're cracking down on use of. So I assume these are words and phrases that will get you flagged, because they'll know you're more on the right side of the aisle, maybe, or you're making jokes or whatever. So obviously the ones I had heard were blue pill and cuck. This list. This is another website. This is called the Glossary of the Parents. This is actually CBS. The Radicalization Glossary. So things like 2chan, 4chan, 8chan, wizard chan, incel. Incel is a very commonly word that comes up a lot. And man, that is a very common sort of incendiary attack that you'll get on the internet, especially on Twitter. Are you guys familiar with the incel thing?
No.
Oh, incels is basically saying that it's considered to be online like subculture hostility towards women because they won't date you. So a lot of the attacks you'll get will be an incel attack, accusing you of being an incel, like, you can't get a date, or that's easy for you to say, or, when's the last time you've had blah, blah, blah. So it's just that type of nasty behavior towards somebody. But it's like the Joker movie was considered an incel kind of movie because he didn't have a woman. He fantasized about a woman and all that. And I'm like, these people are crazy. They just come up with these crazy things. You guys are familiar with like blue pill, right?
I actually never heard blue pill either.
Oh, blue pill.
Red pill and blue pill.
Yeah, red pill and blue pill dates back to the Matrix.
I know the
right.
red pill one.
Right. So the blue pill is the opposite. The blue pill are basically the NPCs, the non-player characters that are in the game. Right. So they're still on the blue pill. They haven't gotten the red pill yet. So they're solely NPCs. I actually consider blue pill. I don't know. Michael Malice uses these terms a lot. So I would actually add, one of my questions for him is how to differentiate between a blue pill person or an NPC, if there is a differentiation or not. I use NPC a lot because that definitely is. And one of the things I mean by NPC is probably not what other people mean by NPC. I think most people, a lot of people I work with, they have stuff going on in their life. So when it comes to all these serious topics, politics, cancel culture. They just don't care. It's not part of their thing. They got to get up, get their kid to school. This one cares about getting to the paycheck so they can get their nails and their weave done. This one's going to go out and go to a Gators game. This one's going to do this. It's not about anything other than just ignorance and avoidance. So they're NPCs. I don't know that they're blue-pilled, but they definitely are ignorant to everything going on. So I guess that does count. Black pill. You guys know what black pill is?
No.
Black pill is there's no coming back. Like, so this is doomed. It's almost like a nihilist view. We've jumped the shark, cancel culture, the economy. It's blue pill. Blue pill is, still ignorant. They're in the matrix. Red pills, they've woke up and they're Neo. They're out of the matrix. Black pill is it's just all doomed. We're done. It's just all gonna melt down. Things like alt-right, of course, we've all heard these things. There's all sorts of weird numbered things and things like that. So anyway, it's just it's so strange knowing that all this is going on around us and we're not really plugged into it sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of black-pilled now. I didn't realize that. You're
was a lot. You were always a little black-pilled.
I think it's just showing our age.
Maybe.
Is it?
And maybe it's just, and maybe at this point it's just being so what's the word for it? Just so over all of it at this point. Like, if you haven't woken up to see what they're doing now, like, then they're not going to fix it. Like, you're not going to wake up. You're just going to be the way you are. And I don't know. Ignorance is bliss, I guess, at this point.
The white pill is hope. Is like you believe there's a way to kind of work through it and survive and whatever. I'm not sure exactly how that gets defined because I would consider myself white pilled, and I place that mostly. My wife and I discussed this recently because I consider them so incompetent, and that Biden really hasn't accomplished anything major. I think what's happened in the last couple of days is more impactful than anything he's done to date. Everything else will be executive order. The pendulum will swing. Things get done. I was more black pilled during the President Obama until I realized how incompetent they are. They fight with each other. They can't get anything done. So I don't know. What do you think, Bob? Where are you? You black pilled?
No, I'm none of the above. I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play that game.
Not going to play.
Seriously,
well, Bob's definitely red pilled. He's been awake long before me.
Pill. He said, "I'm not taking that pill.
I'm not participating in your matrix metaphors. Keep your pop culture nonsense to yourself."
I ain't got no time for that. I ain't got no time for Karens. I ain't got no time for
the Karens.
All these other cisgender. I don't have no time for this stuff.
I want to see Bob. If Bob was forced, what kind of pronouns Bob would put on his. I think you should have a worm and germ pronoun or something of that nature.
I think it's pretty plain to be he, him, whatever.
Oh, the new thing is emojis in place of pronouns. I'm not sure how that would work. Yeah, I don't know how that would work with the emojis, but it's like instead of using a pronoun, you would actually use this emoji. I'm like, well, emojis mean things, but I don't know. Twitter is its own. I was accused of being the spewer of bile and filth, and I have never seen such bile and filth as there is on Twitter. It is absolutely insane cesspool.
I deleted my Twitter account a long time ago.
I just don't do anything. I purged it all out, and it just sort of exists because every now and again I'll post something, or I want to see what someone else has posted, so I kind of have to have an account in order to kind of like see something or whatever. And yeah, so that's really the only reason I kind of keep it.
No, I understand that. It's the same reason, like, because last week when they dropped Adrian's YouTube channel, I just took all my videos down and deleted the channel. I'm like, you know what? I'm not playing in your guys' pool anymore. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go to use Rumble. I'm gonna go use another format system. And you know what? I want one that's gonna at least respect your rights to put up videos that you want to put up that aren't really hurting anybody. But. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what video got Adrian knocked out, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just taking all my stuff down. And my stuff was vanilla anyway. Like, most of the content I've always put up has always been rather vanilla content. It hasn't been anything crazy. But
your radio shows were never on YouTube. Your old radio shows, your old Liberty Underground was never on YouTube.
No, not really.
And that was way worse than some of the stuff that you do now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You were unhinged during some of those moments.
Oh yeah. No, that was it was a whole different. I still had hope then, so like it's easier to. It's easy to be upset and to be mad at the entire situation. It's funny as I went from being mad at the entire situation to actually going up to Tallahassee, lobbying and stuff like that, to just watching our efforts fall like the Afghan government as soon as you stop going up there and see them go revert right back to what they were doing before. And
I'm more black pilled when it comes to my pop culture stuff because I see it unraveling around me daily. I'm really having a hard time. I need to be in some sort of pop culture therapy session or something because it's really, really bad. And now that I see it, I can't unsee it. Like I just seem to hate everything. I'm just so miserable. I am so miserable.
Don't let it get to you, bro.
No, I can't watch anything. Like Reardon came into work. Did you watch What If? And I'm like, oh, I just can't do it, man. It's so awful. I'm so miserable. Whatever. So anyway, Bob, what's going on in your world, man? What do you write about that's not all of the Rona nonsense and everything else? What's going on back there? You got food for us, Snicker? What's going on?
No. I'm still at work, so I got a cruise coming in right now.
All right. So, Bob, what are we talking about? We got plague. We got Ebola. What do we got going on?
The live stream podcast I did today was an hour-long video. In the past 2 Fridays, a 7-year-old boy and a 6-year-old boy, one in California, one in North Carolina, both died from the brain-eating amoeba.
Oh, that never goes away.
Very tragic.
Sad every year.
And so I had a guy on the show who made a foundation because he lost his son in 2014. So we talked about it. I just want to get the message out there. It's like, people, you can't be letting your kids play around and splashing around in fresh water like that. You just can't. And 2 Fridays in a row. So
wow,
that was today's topic.
I used to be the proprietor of Weird News, Alex, but the unattended baggage is riddled with great weird news. So I don't know if you're behind that or if that's Adrian's doing. What's some of the great weird news that you've been able to unshovel over the last few weeks?
All right, so hold on. Let me make sure I get this one story right, because we've been dealing with a lot of. I'll go down with the dystopian future chart. So what we did is we made this thing up called the dystopian future chart. So every time you have a story out in the media, you figure out which dystopian future, which movie it best associates with.
I like this game.
So
I like this game a lot.
It's a good game. Well, I just saw the latest Boston Dynamics video of their robots. And we are definitely putting multiple points on Terminator this week because this thing, 2 of them were like the obstacle course for American Ninja Warrior.
Yes.
Okay, they made this kind of for the robot, not as intricate as the American Ninja Warrior stuff. Like it didn't have the stuff.
It doesn't have like the rope swinging or something.
No, none of that stuff. It's all the foot stuff.
Like tires.
But that robot went across that stuff like you've never seen it. I didn't think that was, and I thought that was like the part that was cool until I saw them doing backflips. Like the robots were doing backflips and landing, 2 of them like in unison.
So before we get to Terminator, we go through the iRobot phase. So we're in the iRobot phase.
See, okay, now that's probably a discussion that we're going to have on Saturday as to whether we can consider it iRobot or Terminator. And you know what? You're raising a point.
It's iRobot, but iRobot's not dystopian enough, but it's on the track to be Skynet. That's what I'm saying. I'm not even trying to change your scale. Terminator needs to be at the top of the scale. That's one of the dystopians. I'm with you there.
Now, hold on. I'm going to make your case for iRobot right now. Because these things, iRobot, they were being used to help people and then turned on people. So this could be in that realm instead of Terminator. But
and if we start
easy to go to as well.
And if we start factoring in like Elon Musk, he's doing brain chip work and all that kind of stuff, then you end up into Surrogates. Have you seen that movie? It's a Bruce Willis movie. So it's kind of like somewhere between like WALL-E, where we're actually alive, but we're just fat in our hover chairs, or Surrogates, where we have our consciousness downloaded to this robot and it lives out our lives and we're just fat at home living out that way. I could see this very quickly being definitely iRobot or Surrogates. Maybe Surrogates is in between Terminator, but Terminators definitely would scare me to death.
Oh yeah, no, it's funny. Like we talk about this every week is like because Adrian is his solution to the whole thing is a solar flare that just knocks out all the electronics. He just wants to knock all the electronics out and start over.
EMP.
Yeah. Now, I always find that funny
Jericho,
from a guy that makes his living on IT, though. Like, this is what he'd want to do, because he really is literally solar flaring himself out of a job.
So, have you guys watched Jericho?
No.
It's a TV series. In season 1, the two of you will create a whole new dystopian category just for Jericho. The entire premise of Jericho is the dude goes, visits his family in Kansas while he's there in the little tiny small town of Jericho. Nuclear bombs just go off everywhere, just fries everything. And it's just the whole first season. Bob, you love Jericho. Season 1 is phenomenal. Season 2 got canceled in the middle, so it's got this stupid government control issue or whatever. But season 1 of Jericho, figure out if you can find it on like Vudu or Apple or Google or something. You two will love Jericho. 100% grade A down this avenue. You'll have another category that we're already could be at. We can be at Jericho at any moment, and it would be believable, right, Bob?
Yeah. I was just thinking about that. But instead of the ending where it was Texas all by itself, it could be Florida all by itself.
Oh, there's too many liberals here, Bob. I would have to, I don't know. That's why I'm in North Florida. I moved. I can't do it. I can't. It's too many. Actually, I was discussing to someone today. It's like too many of them from South Florida, Lauderdale, Miami are coming up here, and they're getting, involved in politics. Where I'm like, no, whoa. We don't want that stuff down there, up here. No, stop it. So, all right. So we have dystopian, Terminator. What are your other categories, Snicker?
You can name the movie, basically. So Idiocracy is one of them.
Well, we're already in Idiocracy. I mean, literally, we're just like an election away from. I mean, actually, more celebrities are talked about every election cycle. So we're just nothing more than just one step after another to get there.
Yeah, we're kind of getting there a lot. You have let me try to think here. Okay, the Cassandra Trigger, which is Adrian's book.
Yep.
He's got that one. Terminator, 28 Days Later.
That
one.
Yeah, that and Walking Dead are sort of like the zombie thing, though. So, but the premise is okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have The Walking Dead. Then you have I don't remember the other. I don't remember the. There's other ones out there, but I don't remember exactly all of them right this very second. But there's a bunch of them out there, and I still have to actually because I have all the show notes from every show we've done, and I have all the links for everything. I got to start adding them up so I can actually make the chart itself now, because we're actually going to make the chart, because I do think that the dystopian future chart was a good idea. I'm hoping the website's still going to be available, but I just really want to have that chart out there just so people can categorize the bad news you get in what category it's feeding that thing. So at least you can make a sport out of it.
At least we'll have sports. Of course we'll have sports. So, all right, gentlemen, what else is in top of your mind, thoughts, anything else we should just yammer on about? My life is consumed by comic books and movies and pop culture and stuff, and it's a dark, dark place. It's a dark place. Everything is about intersectional feminism, men replacing women, men being replaced by women, race swapping, gender swapping. Loki, to me, you liked Loki, didn't you, Snicker?
It was all right.
I think they cheat. I think they play too much on your love of the system, and you just think that it'll pay off at some point. And I'm just like a pessimist. Yeah, but they're not entertaining me today. They're cheating me out of Loki. And the second episode of What If does the exact same thing with Thanos, and it makes my head hurt. I was so ticked off. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're just going out of their way to ruin good things. Can't have nice things anymore. I just can't.
It's because they hate you. That's what it is. They hate you.
I know they hate me. I've seen what they've done to my comic books. It's absolutely insane. I'm just in shock that the stuff that they write and they get away with doing or whatever. It's no wonder they're going broke. They're going broke. Someone's going to just buy DC and or Marvel. Actually, I should take that back. Disney doesn't care if Marvel loses money because it's almost like a lost leader. It's just a line item. And what they've done is they've shifted to do what are called like graphic novels, and they sell them to libraries. So like there's this little new show that's going to come out called Miss Marvel. She didn't really do well, but they have a show that's coming out. Well, one of the reasons they sold a whole bunch of these graphic novels to school libraries. So it's a popular character in the school library circuit. I know. We're boring Bob. He's going to leave us. He's lost him.
I'm just saddened by your situation, man, with all this pop culture gone awry. I mean, It breaks my heart a little bit.
I just want to be entertained, and I feel like they've lost the concept of like a hero story. They've lost things about like redemption arcs and things like that. And it's like the what if story. The first episode is like, what if Peggy Carter becomes Captain America? Which, okay, that's fine. You could come up with some different angles on that. But instead of, it's an animated show, instead of something interesting, they basically just put her head on his body. Okay, it's ridiculous. But there's no reason for it, because in the Falcon Winter Soldier, the people that got the super soldier serum didn't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger when they had it done. So it makes no sense whatsoever, other than just trying to make her replace Steve Rogers and make him, I'll use the word, cuck. So that's basically what he's become through the rest of the episode. So
now you got this thing demonetized. There you go.
Well, there's no chance of monetization, not on the News Talk channel. We have gone into the News Talk of just, we will just do what we want to do. And I mean, the worst thing happens is to take it down, but there's no chance we're going to censor that. I want to keep it clean for profanity reasons, only because it will widen the audience. We won't get keep it the PG-13, just because that way the teenagers or whoever can actually go and find some information that's actually true and not be censored that way. So
what I'm not sure of is, why did you think that this comic book movie world would be immune to all the nonsense that's going on in every other aspect of life?
I don't know that I thought it would be immune. I thought, and I still think, profits matter more than agenda. But now I realize that there's so much intertwined. They haven't been bankrupt enough. No one's, like, Marvel hasn't had the big enough flop. Black Widow's the first little dose, and then we have Shang-Chi coming next. And that's probably not going to do particularly well. And the Eternals is kind of, so they have to really get hit in the wallet to like, okay, wait, stop. We're not doing this anymore. So until that starts to really, really happen, because right now they're just blaming the pandemic. They're just getting a free pass. So like, there's no objective. This stinks. That's why you're losing money. It's about no one wants to go to the theaters, and no one is at the theaters. My wife and I went to the movie. We saw a movie the other night, and there was like 4 people in the place. Like, there's nobody there. It's a great time to go to the movies, Bob. There will be no one there to bother you. There are no germs. There's nobody there. Yeah. Private shows for everybody.
Did you all see, I think it was Homeland Security, maybe? They came out with a list of the worst types of extremists or something like that, and things they want to like lock down on. And number 1 was people that are going to protest against COVID mitigation efforts.
Wow.
And number 2 was anybody that's going to protest against how the election went. Those are the 2 big terror.
But who's protested against how the election? It's just a small number of these people who would do that. And I still don't think most people would. They're sheep. Like, it took like the Antifa guy that like kicked the window in to go, hey guys, let's go in here. It wasn't just a thing. That's such an overblown thing in the leftist mind. They're so delusional about that one. Americans are too apathetic. They have things to do.
Yeah, but that's this is a government agency that gets gazillions of dollars, and this is part of their agenda.
Well, we still have TSA, so it shows how incompetent they are.
Yeah.
Socialism, you vote your way in, you shoot your way out.
Snicker. What's on the topic for the unattended baggage this week? You guys write your
Afghanistan.
Oh, Afghanistan.
It's going to be a big, huge Afghanistan one. I mean, we got some other stuff to talk about, but Afghanistan's that is the thing that's going to take the majority of my thought and my time, because I got a lot of stuff to say about it, and it's going to take a while to do it. And I'm sure that I'm going to piss off everyone. So,
well, you should. Let me see if I can get your little thing to come up here. There's your little URL, right, folks. There it is right there. Go over to Patreon, unattended baggage. Do your things and get yourself plugged into that so you don't miss out on those shows, because let me tell you what, we are nothing compared to the wild ride over at the unattended baggage crew.
You guys are fun. Don't discount yourself. I enjoy this conversation as well. It's a different kind of conversation, but this one's still good too.
We're getting there. I think once I get a few more of these little bugs worked out and get myself hardwired in for these shows, we can have some fun. This is good. Bob, you were right. It's fun doing like a couple more people. We could just keep going, man. We got to get Adrian on here too. He'll really light this place up.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you could convince him to do it, I mean, I'm lucky enough that I can convince him on a Saturday to do it.
Yeah,
we
but
are going to have that conversation as well. We have another conversation. So I got Telegram. I think it's called Telegram. One of the listeners put it together, and it's like a multi-person, like, forever chat that's double secured or whatever.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna try to convince Adrian on the show to put that on his phone, and he's not going to do it. I mean, I know already that it's going to be. I already know, like, if you were going into Afghanistan, it's going to be a failure. So, like, there's no way that he's going to do it. But I'm going to try to make the case to him that he should do it, if only to say one thing on there and then ignore everybody's comments, just to almost to solidify his being an a-hole, which I've censored myself there for Brandon.
I appreciate it.
So in order to Adrian to continue to be the maximum jerk possible, that he needs to put it on his phone so he can just not look at it.
But see, he has a VPN, so he could do this StreamYard thing. You guys could do this and have commenters, and you
get
could
off my lawn, jerk kind of guy in that aspect.
I know.
Look, I love him to death. I love Adrian to death, but I'm not afraid to tell him that this is where he's at. I told it to him on the air several times. And he
wants live interaction, though. I know he wants live interaction. It's just the way to go. It's so easy to use.
Yeah, he's got too used to the podcast now.
That's true. It is a very convenient format to use too. So it's just like this requires so much less work. I could just put this up. It's such a massive file. I don't even edit it anymore. I'm not going to edit it right now. It's just too big. Hopefully it'll just go up to YouTube and do its little pods. And once we get it a little tweaked, then we'll figure out how to edit out of it or pay someone to do it or something. Because this is nuts. What do you think, Bob?
I was going to actually talk about something Alex said, something about going to Rumble, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I opened up an account this week. I'm basically putting my political interviews on there, and pretty nice. However, the upload takes forever. Just to give you a heads up on it, it is so slow.
You don't have to give me a heads up. You're going to put our videos on there, right? That's what you're going to do. We're going to get a new newsletter. That'll be Snicker's job. We're going to keep farming this out.
You're going to have to get the gerbil and the little wheel up there in Ocala.
Yeah. There's no doing this at home. That's why. So it's so funny. I went into a Tampa Dispatch today, and it was like there's no stories for like so long. I'm like, oh, Bob's been busy with Outbreak because Tampa doesn't get any content.
Yeah.
What's happening with
this? Here's the bus. Here's Brandon driving the bus.
Yeah.
Here's Bob right here.
And boom, boom. Yep. That's how that went down. Yeah. I tried to plug directly in with the Ethernet cable to do this, and it shut the whole internet down. So that didn't work. So I'll have to probably call them and figure out how to hardwire in. And yeah, but it's all right. See, I moved because I thought, well, I'm closer to the Wi-Fi. It would reduce our chance of being dropped. I still have a very minimal signal compared to how it normally is. But hey, listen, we're here. We haven't really buffered much. We had a good time. It's fun talk. Maybe we can shoot for next week. We'll see. But I appreciate you guys doing this, and we'll learn and having some good fun talk. And maybe we can make some clips out of it. I'm not saying I won't try. It just takes, like Bob said, it's a long time getting things to go up and down when it comes to these YouTube videos. So, and Snicker, it's just no. These files are just insane how big they are. So,
yeah.
All right, my guy. Anything else you guys want to think about?
No, we're good, man. Have a great
day. Bob's got something else to say.
I want to ask Alex a question.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, Alex, how are you different now from 2010 when you ran for office?
Ooh, that's a good question.
The reason I ask is I went to the Global Dispatch today to dig up the old
2010 interview,
senatorial interview,
Ooh.
And I'm just curious. 11 years later, who is Alex Snitka?
Okay, I'm going to give you a short answer. There's a long answer and a short answer.
Short answer is good.
The short answer is this, is that I know enough now to know how wrong I was on some issues. I still believe primarily in a lot of those issues. However, I do believe that I'll give you a couple, like fair tax. I don't believe in the fair tax anymore, not because I don't believe in consumption-based taxation, but because I think that if you were going to do something like that you should have the state be involved more than anything else. So I don't necessarily agree with this overall thing, or just to get rid of taxes altogether. I am much more of an anarchist at that point, and I'm much more of an anarchist now than I was then. At that point, I still believed in public schools. Now I want to see them all burned to the ground.
Amen, brother.
I mean, not with any kids in them. Not with any kids in them. Hold on.
Yes.
I don't
clarify.
want them to actually
They're
get burned
empty.
to the ground.
They're empty.
Yeah, they're empty. No kids in them. But I would say this: I'm much more towards the anarchist side now than I was then. I think I'm much more intelligent on the issues than I was then. I look back at me then and realize kind of how dumb I was at the time. Like, not dumb, but like I didn't know the issue fully enough or understood the political reality of stuff well enough in order to kind of be effective. But at the same time, I wouldn't have done the run I did in 2010 had I known what I know now. And there's advantages to running in 2010 that are long-term advantages that the me now wouldn't want to take advantage of because I'm maybe more cynical now. So I think I'm smarter. I think I'm wiser. I'm not as idealistic and probably more discerning, I guess. And I think I know the issues deeper than I did then. So some good, some bad.
That's a good answer.
A lot of that goes with age and wisdom.
Yeah.
How about you, Bob? How different are you?
In 11 years?
Yeah, well, if you had to rewind the clock, what's Robert Herriman look like, 11 years ago, 10 years
I would
ago?
say
2010, Bob.
I would say I am more toned down than I used to be. If somebody disagreed with me, I would be in their face.
Yeah, it was crazy. There's a story there. I won't get. We will get. It was a great story. Oh my God, there was.
And I just. It's clear that that's not effective. So many years ago, I turned the corner on that, and now I realize you just change people's minds one person at a time, and I try to do that by, one-on-one civil conversations without going in without any expectations, and see what comes out of it. But I just think I've mellowed with age a lot. I'm almost 58, and just much more mellow than I have been my whole adult life.
Nice.
There's so many more important things in life. You start to think about it, and yeah.
Good.
It's true.
Good. Oh, it all got all sensitive and personal, like a Phil Donahue show or something.
It was nice, though.
It was
nice.
I liked Phil's show, actually.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. He had fantastic guests.
I know. We don't do that anymore.
And Milton Friedman.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
Great guest, and and they would knock him down pretty well. So
yeah, you have to go to YouTube and independent places like the Rumble and stuff like that to find that kind of content these days. It does not mainstream, not participating with any of that kind of stuff.
But Donahue, at least he had the grapes to bring these type of people on his show.
Yeah, that Ayn Rand clip is classic. Oh, yeah, classic clip.
I mean, you would never see Rachel Maddow bring these type of people on her show,
or give them the time to talk.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hear someone say that, like that to the left, anything that they do is considered endorsing. So for them, they don't understand that when we do things, we actually are interested in conversation, not endorsement. So it's like an interesting observation. I thought well defined that. Maddow's not allowed to have that kind of person on because you're not allowed that. By having them on, you're endorsing. You're not having interaction. You're not trying to understand the other side. There's no tolerance for the other side. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was a very way of articulating how different things are from Phil Donahue.
I mean, you know who Chuck Todd is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Heard of him? Yeah. Every once in a blue moon, I don't typically watch him because I'm other things going on Sunday, but I see the clips sometimes, and sometimes he'll ask a difficult question, very, very rare, but he does it to somebody on his side. Go on Twitter about 20 minutes later, fire Chuck Todd, fire. I mean, it just, it's maniacal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
Let me ask you guys, I know I tried to end the show and then we keep going, but it's why does half the world consider Twitter to be reality when we know so much has been proven that the Russians, North Koreans, Iranian, Chinese hackers purposely go on there and bot and create chaos? Like, why on earth would anyone consider Twitter real when we know it's sabotaged?
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
I think they're just talking to themselves.
Yeah.
Right. They're mirror
Sure.
images, and they get people that are going to agree with them and everything, and it's just nonsense. I mean,
Confirmation bias.
For me, it's just a marketing tool, nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. That's a great time. I like the Alex Snicker clip at the end there in Bob's confession. That was good. I like this. That's good stuff. We should have a non-political night where we just do that kind of nonsense. I don't know. That probably won't go long. That won't go well. So
It could.
anyway, you guys be good. Thank you again. And for any of you guys watching, we got likes, subscribe, subs, all that nonsense. There's a Snickers unattended baggage. Hit our Patreon, hit him up, and we appreciate your time and efforts. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good evening, guys.